Good morning, ma'am. So my topic is threads and concurrency. So what is a thread? A thread is a lightweight process and the basic unit of CPU utilization. It comprises of a thread ID, a program counter, a register set, and a stack. A thread is an entity within a process that can be scheduled for execution. A thread is an active entity which executes a part of a process. Coordination between the threads is required in order to share system resources like input output devices, memory, and of course the CPU. A traditional heavyweight process has a single thread of control. If a process has multiple threads of control, it can perform more than one task at a time. So this is where multi-threading comes into account and it's very beneficial for us. So now let's look at single-threaded and multi-threaded process. So this is a single-threaded process. We see here there is a single thread. So a single thread consists of stack, registers, code, data, and files. So a single thread will execute this process using these components. Now let's look at a multi-threaded process. Here there are three threads in this diagram, and each thread has a stack and registers. We see this also has stack and registers, stack and registers. But this thread has code segment here, this has data, and this has files. And we have to see one thing that the code, data, and files are all shared here. There is no barricade between them. They are all shared, which means that these threads are sharing their resources. These resources are shared among each other. So this way, multi-thread process is executed. Different threads execute different processes. So we see a multi-threaded process is executed. So now let's understand threads using a software. So this is a software whose name is Process Threads View. So here it shows the number of threads which are running right now in my system. So we see this is the thread ID and these are the thread IDs of the processes, which means that there are these many processes running right now. So each process has context switches, then the status, the base priority, dynamic priority, the time at which the thread was created, and many other such attributes. And as I said in the beginning, that a thread consists of a stack. So we see the stack information is also here, like the stack base, the stack limit, the stack size. So we can click on any thread and we can see the stack data. This is the stack data of the thread. And this is the stack data of this thread having the thread ID 25188. So this shows the number of threads and the threads which are running right now in my system. So now let's see what are the advantages of multi-threading. So specialization. By specializing different threads to perform the different tasks, we can manage threads. For example, we can give higher priority to those threads which are executing the more important task. Also, in multiprocessor architecture, specialization leads to the hotter cache, which improves performance. Now, the next benefit is efficiency. It is efficient. Multi-threaded programs are more efficient as compared to multi-process programs in terms of resource requirement, as threads share address space while process does not. So multi-process programs will require separate memory space allocation. Also, multi-threaded programs incur lower overhead as inter-thread communication is less expensive. So the next advantage is responsiveness. So multi-threading an interactive application may allow a program to continue running even if part of it is blocked or is performing a lengthy operation, thereby increasing responsiveness to the user. Then resource sharing. Threads share memory resources of the process, as we saw in the diagram before, to which they belong. The application then has several different threads of activity within the same address space. Economy. Allocating memory and resources for process creation is costly. Threads share resources of the process to which they belong and are more economical to create and context switch threads. Now let's look at user and kernel threads. So kernel threads are supported within the kernel of the OS itself. All modern OSs support kernel level threads, allowing the kernel to perform multiple simultaneous tasks and to service multiple kernel system calls simultaneously. There is no thread management code in the application area. Kernel threads are supported directly by the operating system. Any application can be programmed to be multi-threaded. All of the threads within an application are supported within a single process. Now let's see user threads. User threads are above the kernel and without kernel support. These are the threads that application programmers use in their programs. The thread management kernel is not aware of the existence of threads. The thread library contains code for creating and destroying the thread, for passing message and data between threads, for scheduling thread execution, and for saving and restoring thread context. Now let's look at the relationship between threads. The first one is one-to-one relationship. So in this model, each user level thread is associated with a kernel level thread. When a user process creates a user level thread, there is a kernel level thread either created or already present. So what are the advantages of this model? Operating system can directly see, manage, synchronize, schedule, or block the threads. Since OS already supports threading, the application can directly take advantage of this support. So the disadvantage of this model are for every operation, the application has to do a system call, which involves changing the user to kernel mode, which is an expensive operation. This model is not much flexible as applications have to rely on thread support provided by OS. As OS may have limits on the number of threads it can create or may have any other policies. So we see these are the user level threads and these are the kernel level threads. Each user level thread is associated with a single kernel level thread. So this is associated with this. This user level thread is associated with this kernel level thread and so on. So this is one-to-one relationship. So let's look at this next relationship, which is the many-to-one relationship. So in this model, all the user level threads are mapped to a single kernel level thread. At user level, there is a thread management library, which is present at the user level, which decides which of the user level thread will actually be mapped through the kernel level thread. Advantages. As all the management is done by the thread management library present at the user level, everything is done by user level thread library like scheduling, synchronization, context change, etc. So no kernel support is required. Hence, no constraints on limits, policies, etc. Also, we don't have to do frequent system calls, which is an expensive task. So what are the disadvantages? OS does not have any information regarding the scheduling done at the user level. So OS may block the entire process if one user level thread blocks an input or an output. So here we see these are the user level threads and these are the kernel level threads. So multiple user level threads are mapped to a single kernel level thread. We can see here multiple user level threads are mapped to a single kernel level thread. So this is the many to one relationship. So next we see many to many relationship. So in this model, some threads are mapped directly to the kernel threads, while in some cases many threads are mapped to a single kernel thread, like many to one, and are managed by the thread management library at user level. This model is the best of both many to one and one to one. and have the advantages of both the models. However, this model requires coordination between user level thread manager and the kernel level thread manager. So we can see these are the user level threads and these are the kernel level threads. Here we see multiple user level threads are mapped to a single kernel level thread. And also a single user level thread is mapped to a single kernel level thread. So it has the properties of both one-to-one and many-to-one relationship. So this is the many-to-many relationship. So now let's look at concurrency in operating system. So concurrency is the execution of the multiple instruction sequences at the same time. It happens in the operating system when there are several process threads running in parallel. The running process threads always communicate with each other through shared memory or message passing. Concurrency results in sharing of resources result in problems like deadlocks and resource starvation. It helps in techniques like coordinating execution of processes, memory allocation, and execution scheduling for maximizing the throughput. So this is a multi-programming environment. We see there is a single CPU, a single processor, and we have sensor input output interface, memory, display interface. So a single processor takes care of all these. So this is a multi-programming environment. So now let's see a multi-processing environment. Here we see that we have multiple processors. We have two CPUs here, and they take care of the sensor, input output interface, memory, display interface. So what happens here is these two processors share the resources. Resource sharing is done. So this is multi-processing environment. So concurrency is useful in multi-core, multi-processor, and distributed computer systems. So let's look at the advantages of concurrency. So increased performance from true parallelism, it is better than that. Increased reliability, which means fault tolerance. Specialized processors like graphics, communication, and encryption. Then some applications like email are inherently distributed. Concurrent programming often results in superior program structure. So we have to write the code for different tasks and let some separate engine schedule the tasks. So this was my presentation on threads and concurrency in operating system. Thank you.